He wanted you to kill him.
Yeah, he wanted me to kill him.
A judge in South Carolina handed down 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole.
9 seconds. That's all it took to blow Alex Murdaugh's alibi apart. 9 seconds of video, shot by his son Paul on the night they were both murdered, capture a voice in the background that Alex Murdaugh had told investigators wasn't there. His voice.
It's a guinea.
It's a chicken.
At the dog kennels, where the bodies were found. At the time, he said he was somewhere else. I was just down there. 4 words, caught on a phone that was recovered from the crime scene. 4 words that prosecutors played for a packed courtroom in Walterboro, South Carolina, in February 2023, and that jury took less than 3 hours to consider before convicting Alex Murdaugh of murdering his wife and his son.
Mr. Murdaugh, I sentence you to the State Department of Correction. Each of the murder indictments in the murder of your wife, Maggie Murdaugh, I sentence you for the term of the rest of your natural life.
But this case was never just about a murder. It was about a dynasty. 3 generations of the same family controlling the same courtrooms in the same part of South Carolina for over 100 years. And the moment one of them needed the law to treat him the same way it treated everyone else, it turned out the law didn't quite know how to do that anymore. Hold that thought. This case has a twist that nobody saw coming. To understand what happened at Moselle on the night of June 7th, 2021, you need to understand what the Murdaugh name meant in the South Carolina Low Country. Richard Alexander Murdaugh. Alex was born in 1968 into a family that had operated as an informal aristocracy in Hampton County for decades. His great-grandfather, Randolph Murdaugh Sr., was elected county solicitor in 1920, the top prosecutorial position in the circuit. His grandfather held the same position. His father held the same position. For more than a century, if you were arrested in the 14th Judicial Circuit of South Carolina, you faced a Murdaugh in court. If you were a plaintiff in a personal injury case, you hired a Murdaugh. If you were a victim, a defendant, or a bystander in a legal matter anywhere in that part of the state, the Murdaugh family was almost certainly aware of your case and probably involved in it. Alex joined the family's law firm, Peters Murdaugh Parker Eltsroth and Dietrich, PMPED, and became, by reputation, a formidable personal injury attorney. He was connected in the way that people who grow up inside power structures become connected. His phone calls got answered. His referrals got taken seriously. Law enforcement in the area had, over generations, developed a professional deference to the Murdaugh name that made the family nearly invisible to outside scrutiny. Multiple investigations involving people adjacent to the Murdaughs had stalled or been quietly redirected over the years. In Hampton County, the Murdaugh family was not just respected, it was embedded in the institutions that would normally provide oversight. He married Margaret Kennedy Maggie in 1993. They had 2 sons, Richard Alexander Murdaugh Jr., known as Buster, and Paul Terry Murdaugh. They lived on Moselle, a 1,400-acre hunting estate in Colleton County. By every visible measure, the Murdaugh family was one of the most established and protected in the state. What was not visible was the $9.3 million that Alex Murdaugh had been stealing from his clients, his law firm, and the estates of dead people for more than a decade. February 24, 2019. Paul Murdaugh, then 19 years old, drunk, driving a boat at night in Archers Creek, plows into the Beaufort River Bridge. 5 passengers. One of them, a young woman named Mallory Beach, is thrown into the water. Her body was recovered 7 days later. It is the first public fracture in the Murdaugh family's image because Paul is charged with boating under the influence and causing death.
We're still missing one. What's her name? Mallory Beach. Is her?
A criminal charge that the family's network, under normal circumstances, might have helped manage. But Mallory Beach's family has their own attorneys. They are suing. Discovery in that civil case is scheduled to begin in June 2021. And the discovery process would require Alex Murdaugh to account for client settlement funds that he had been stealing and redirecting into a private account that his law partners didn't know existed. The timeline matters. Prosecutor Creighton Waters, in his opening statement at the 2023 trial, called the murders the product of a gathering storm. By early 2021, Alex Murdaugh was drowning in it. His opioid addiction, which he had maintained secretly for years, spending as much as $50,000 a month on pills he obtained through a network of friends and associates, was consuming him physically and financially. His law partners had begun noticing irregularities. A bookkeeper at the firm, John Seconder, was scheduled to confront him about missing funds on the afternoon of June 7, 2021. Maggie and Paul were shot at Moselle that evening, and Alex Murdaugh called police at 10:07 p.m.
Turn around for me.
I don't have any.
Okay, yes sir, I see that. Okay. This is your wife and son?
And son.
Okay.
to report finding their bodies near the dog kennels. Before the boat crash, there was Gloria Satterfield. The Murdaugh family's longtime housekeeper died in February 2018 after falling on the front steps at Moselle. The death was ruled an accident. Alex Murdaugh told Satterfield's two sons that he would help them pursue a wrongful death claim against his own homeowner's insurance, a claim he said would be worth millions. He connected them with a lawyer he trusted. What he did not tell the Satterfield boys was that the insurance paid out, that the settlement was real, and that he had taken every dollar of it. When the scheme unraveled during the murder investigation, the circumstances of Satterfield's actual death are still under scrutiny. The 2015 death of a young man named Stephen Smith, found on a rural Hampton County road with a head wound initially classified as a hit and run.
Talking about the death of Stephen Smith, nearly 11 years after the Hampton County teen was found dead in the middle of a roadway.
Investigators reopened the case in 2021 after information gathered during the Murdaugh murder investigation raised new questions. Paul Murdaugh had been a classmate of Smith's. The circumstances of Smith's death and any possible connection to the Murdaugh family remain under investigation. When investigators arrived at Moselle on the night of June 7th, 2021, Alex Murdaugh told them he had last seen Maggie and Paul around 9 p.m. He said he had gone inside, taken a nap, and driven to his parents' house to check on his ailing father. He said he had returned to Moselle, found the bodies, and called 911. He was consistent about one thing. He had not been at the dog kennels when the shooting occurred. He had not been near the kennels. He had been inside the house, then at his parents' home. Then, in February 2023, prosecutors played the 9-second video. Paul had recorded it on his phone at the kennels at approximately 8:44 p.m. on the night of the murders, about 20 minutes before the deaths, based on forensic timing. In the background of the video, clearly audible, are the voices of Alex Murdaugh and Maggie Murdaugh. Alex is speaking.
Get back. Get back.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth. It's a guinea.
Alex Murdaugh had told investigators he was not at the kennels that night. He was on the video. His voice was unmistakable. 3 family friends who testified at trial, people who knew Alex's voice intimately, identified it immediately. In the courtroom when the video was played, observers described the moment as a collective intake of breath. Reporters who had followed the case for 2 years said the kennel video was the moment they understood why deliberations would be short. When Alex Murdaugh took the stand on February 23, 2023, he admitted he had lied. He said he had lied about his location because he was panicked and on drugs and not thinking clearly. The jury heard this explanation for 4 days of cross-examination. Before we get to the trial, 6 weeks of testimony, a video that broke his alibi, a cross-examination that is now being studied in law schools. I want to take 5 seconds. A case about a dynasty, a family murder, and a system that protected one man for decades until it couldn't anymore is exactly what this channel is here to cover. Subscribing takes 2 seconds and it genuinely helps. Now, the money. The boat crash motive completes itself here. Discovery in the Beach family's civil suit, scheduled for June 2021, would have compelled Alex Murdaugh to produce financial records. Those records would have shown the private bank account, the missing settlement money, the scheme in which he collected insurance settlements on behalf of clients, told them the money had been delayed or reduced, and deposited the full amount into a personal account he had created under a shell identity. Prosecutors argued that Paul's pending criminal case was the thread that would unravel everything. That Alex Murdaugh, facing the simultaneous collapse of his financial schemes and his son's trial, chose the one move that might generate sympathy and create enough chaos to delay the discovery of his crimes. It didn't work. Within months of the murders, his law firm had fired him.
He is to serve 40 years in prison after pleading guilty to 22 federal financial crimes charges. Murdaugh already serving life in prison without parole.
SLED was investigating him for financial crimes, and he was indicted on fraud charges that would eventually total over 90 separate counts. In September 2021, he also attempted to orchestrate his own death, staging a roadside shooting to make it look like he had been murdered. With the help of an associate named Curtis Smith,
SLED says on Monday, Alex Murdaugh provided a statement admitting that he wanted Smith to murder him so that his son could collect a life insurance policy of $10 million.
In a scheme designed to trigger a $10 million life insurance policy for his surviving son, Buster. The shot grazed his head. He survived. He was arrested shortly afterward. By the time his murder trial began in January 2023, he was already facing decades in prison for financial crimes he had pleaded guilty to committing. January 25, 2023, Colleton County Courthouse, Walterboro, South Carolina. The courthouse sits in the city that had been a seat of Murdaugh power for generations. Alex Murdaugh's great-grandfather had walked these same halls as the county solicitor. His grandfather. His father. For more than 100 years, the Murdaugh family had been on the other side of that bench, deciding who got prosecuted, how hard, and on what charges. Now, Alex Murdaugh sat at the defense table, in the 14th Judicial Circuit his family had owned, and waited for the state of South Carolina to try to convict him of killing his wife and son. The trial lasted 6 weeks. The evidence against him was circumstantial. There was no murder weapon, no eyewitnesses, and the crime scene had been significantly contaminated by rain and by the movement of friends and family through it in the immediate aftermath. What the prosecution had was a pattern.
By him not telling SLED that he was at the kennel, I would say that yes, he lied.
The financial motive, the timeline that put him at the kennels, the 9-second video, and the fact that he had lied to investigators and admitted it on the stand. Prosecutor Creighton Waters told the jury that Alex Murdaugh had killed Maggie and Paul because the walls were closing in, and he needed a distraction. He needed grief. He needed the community that had protected his family for a century to rally around him one more time. Alex Murdaugh took the stand. This was, in itself, extraordinary. Defendants in capital cases rarely testify, and this was effectively a capital case in its consequences. He was on the stand for 2 days on direct examination with his own attorney.
New testimony from disgraced former attorney Alex Murdaugh, answering questions about the night he found their bodies and detailing a serious addiction to prescription drugs.
He described his opioid addiction, his shame, his love for Maggie and Paul. He described finding their bodies. He said that Paul had fallen forward against his legs and that he had held him. He cried in ways that moved people in the gallery who had come in skeptical. Then Creighton Waters began cross-examination. Waters used Alex Murdaugh's own words from his financial crimes guilty plea, from his interviews with investigators, from the statements he had made and contradicted over the preceding 2 years, to build a portrait of a man who lied as naturally as he breathed. He asked Murdaugh about specific thefts. Murdaugh admitted to them. He asked about the fake bank account. Murdaugh admitted it. He asked about the fee theft from the family of Gloria Satterfield, the Murdaugh housekeeper who had died after a fall at Moselle in 2018, a death that would later be investigated as a potential homicide, and whose wrongful death settlement Murdaugh had stolen entirely from her sons, telling them the money was tied up in court. Murdaugh admitted it. Each admission of fraud was a reminder to the jury of the pattern prosecutors were asking them to accept. And then, at the end of 4 days of cross-examination, the jury deliberated for 2 hours and 47 minutes.
Testify that you were on that kennel video, so you, like you've done so many times over the course of your life, had to back up and make a new story that kind of fit with the facts that can't be denied.
March 2nd, 2023. Guilty on all 4 counts. 2 counts of murder. 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. Judge Clifton Newman sentenced him to 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. From the bench, Newman said something that landed on the courtroom like a weight. He said he believed Alex Murdaugh loved his family and that he had killed them anyway. That was, for many people in that room, the most difficult sentence of the entire proceeding. 3 months after the verdict, the case produced a twist that nobody who had followed it closely would have predicted. Becky Hill, the Colleton County Clerk of Court, who had presided over the trial proceedings, who had sat in the well of the courtroom for 6 weeks and had become a recognizable face in the national media coverage, published a book about the trial.
That's why this lawsuit is so important, because it's going to allow us to peel the onion on her and what she's done on this case with the other people involved. Was she a lone wolf? Has she done it on other cases?
Former jurors began coming forward. Multiple jurors stated that Hill had spoken to them during the trial in ways that had been improper, that she had made comments to jurors that suggested Murdaugh was guilty before the deliberations had concluded. In January 2024, a South Carolina judge denied the motion. The defense appealed to the state Supreme Court. In May 2025, Hill was charged with perjury, obstruction of justice, and misconduct in office, criminal charges arising from her conduct during the trial. In May 2026, 5 years after the murders, 3 years after the conviction, the South Carolina Supreme Court unanimously overturned Alex Murdaugh's murder convictions, citing what it called shocking jury interference by Hill.
The murder convictions that he was facing were actually just overturned by the South Carolina Supreme Court.
The Attorney General announced he would retry the case. Alex Murdaugh did not walk free. He remains incarcerated, sentenced to 40 years in federal prison for financial fraud and 27 years in state prison on separate financial crime charges, for which he has pleaded guilty. He is not going anywhere. A retrial date was set for late 2026. Becky Hill, the court clerk at the center of the reversal, was charged in May 2025 with perjury, obstruction of justice, and misconduct in office. She resigned from her position in March 2024 after her book about the trial attracted scrutiny. The legal proceeding she helped derail is now starting over. Paul Murdaugh shot it at the dog kennels at 8:44 p.m. on June 7th, 2021. In the background, audible and clear, is Alex Murdaugh saying, "I was just down there."
Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit. It's okay. Come here. Sorry about that. Come here, Cash.
That phrase told investigators he was at the kennels, the exact location where Maggie and Paul were shot at the exact time the prosecution placed the murders. Alex Murdaugh had told police he was not there. The video said otherwise. That contradiction was the spine of the prosecution's case. The jury heard it and convicted him in under 3 hours. Now the murder convictions have been overturned. Not because of the video hasn't changed. Not because of the alibi. The system that the Murdaugh family had operated inside for a century, the 14th Judicial Circuit, the Hampton County Courthouse culture, the network of connections and favors and professional relationships turned out to have one more failure left in it. Not a failure that protected Alex Murdaugh this time. A failure that may give him grounds for a new trial in which the murder case has to be rebuilt from the beginning. Maggie Murdaugh was 52 years old. She had been married to Alex for nearly 30 years. Paul Murdaugh was 22. Nobody in their circle knew the full shape of what Alex Murdaugh had built and was trying to protect and was willing to do to protect it. The question of what happened at Moselle that night is not legally resolved, but the 9-second video still exists, and Alex Murdaugh's voice is still on it. Whether a new jury, in a new trial in the same 14th Judicial Circuit the Murdaugh family owned for a century, will convict him again, is the question South Carolina is still answering.